Hi and welcome to Watch the Time and my unboxing and initial review of my new watch. This is a watch I first saw on the Urban Gentry channel. TGV's always going on about how fantastic this watch is and he loves it, and I've always quite liked the design. I had the rotary sort of similar pilot style watch with the slide-rule bezel on it and all that, and I quite liked it, but there was something about it that I just didn't bond with, so I sold it. And I've also always had half an eye on this watch, but I've never really seen what all the fuss is about, so I decided to buy one, and here it is. The good old Seiko Flighty, as it's known, the Seiko Flightmaster. So it's the reference sna411. So we'll just get it out, and I'm really surprised with this watch. The first thing that you'll be surprised, well, I was surprised about, was its size. In all the pictures and even in the videos, it looks massive, and I don't know if that's because most of the videos of this watch I've seen have been on TGV's wrist, which is tiny, and it looks like a really big watch, but it is actually a dinky little thing, in my opinion. So let's just do the grand unveiling. Ooh. There you have it, the Seiko Flightmaster. Oops. I'll talk about what I've done with the strap and all that in a second. And I've been wearing this for a couple of days now, and I've got a bit of a confession to make. I've absolutely fallen in love with it. It is adorable. It's not to everyone's taste. I think it's probably a Marmite watch. I just absolutely fall in love. I mean, I do like chronographs, and currently I've only got one and now two, and I was honestly expecting to buy this, review it and sell it. I've bought it, I'm going to review it, I'm not going to sell this, certainly not straight away, because I'm just, you know, really enjoying this watch, and I'll go through some of the reasons why. So I'll get it off this cushion, and I'll quickly go through what I've done strap wise, because there are a couple of issues with this watch, and the strap is one of them. The problem with the strap is that the holes for the lugs, if you can just see there how far back and how low down, there you go, the holes are. They're so close to the case. If those drilled holes had been over on the edge here, it would have been much better to put different straps on. So the first problem we have is we've got a 21mm width. Now if you try and squeeze a 22 in, it's so tight to the case here that it's a bit awkward on the strap. I've put a 21 in, so you've got a little bit of a gap either side, but I think it works okay. You just see the gap there, but it's not so bad when it's sort of on your wrist. You don't actually notice that. Obviously that's not a problem if you don't want to put it on a strap. The bracelet it comes with is one of the nicer Seiko bracelets that I've seen. The clasp is good. It's just a, you know, double pusher press clasp. I haven't got a problem with those. I never have. They always wear quite nicely. Only 2 micro adjustments, but it's kind of half a link, so I managed to get it sized absolutely fine. Just push pins, solid links and solid end links, which is amazing for a Seiko in this price range. So when this strap is on, it's actually fine. The thing I don't like about this strap is the polished mid links. My choices were to either not use it or to brush them out. I'm just not keen on the look of it. It looked fine on, but my intention was to get off this and onto a strap. Now when I put it on the Nato strap, I don't like Natos because you end up with loads of stuff here and loads of stuff here, and it makes the watch look too wide, and it doesn't really suit my wrist. So what I've done is I've got a Nato, that bit would have been there obviously, so I've chomped that off and just put a single pass through, and then I wear it like a normal, like you would a two-piece strap, and it actually works really well like this. You have to be really careful. This is a fairly thick strap and it barely goes through there, and at one point I thought as I was pulling this through, I thought I'm gonna ping out a spring bar. They are really tight in there. I don't even want to take this off to show you the case back. There's nothing particularly interesting on the case back, it's just a screw down case back. There's nothing exciting on there anyway, and I don't want to take this off because it's a pain in the arse to get on. But once it's on the strap, it actually wears really nicely, and it's gradually wearing better as this sort of kind of naturally bends over. So I'm happy with it on this strap, and I'm just going to leave it like that. And obviously you can see what I've done with the strap. The black and the yellow matches the dial perfectly. I think TGV wears his on a green one, but I kind of didn't get why you'd have a green over like a black and yellow to match. And you've got all these little yellow indicators on here with the compass indications on here in yellow. So I think it looks absolutely fantastic on that. I'm not going to go through dimensions because it's really awkward on this watch, and I'm just going to show it to you on my wrist, and I think it's a better way of showing you the size, because it even now I'm looking at it on screen, it looks like a really big watch because there's so much going on and it's so deep and it kind of draws you in, but it's really not. It's a tiny little watch. I'm wearing my Seiko Monster at the moment, and I'm going to do a little comparison and show you what the two look like. I'm just going to go around some of the features of the watch. Obviously we've got a rotating bezel, so we've got a bisexual bezel which rotates. It's a smooth rotation, but it's a real solid. You have to give it a real push. So once you've set it and lined it up with something, then it's not going to move by mistake. You've got all your different scales around there for doing all different kinds of calculations. For me, I have no interest in any of that whatsoever, because my problem is I can't see any of it when it's on my wrist. Even with my glasses on, I struggle to see a lot of the detail in there, but to me that's not what it's about. I just like the design of it. You've got a 3-dial layout on here, and we've got the 60-minute timer at the top. You've got a dual time stroke alarm down the bottom, and I'll talk more about that later. And then you've got a running second hand over on the left. Around here we've got 3 crowns. We've got a screw down crown in the middle, and then the pushers have screw down collars. They're not screw down pushers, it's just the collar that screws down, and that gives this watch its 200 meters of water resistance, which for a pilot style watch is absolutely fantastic. And that kind of makes this, you know, an absolutely brilliant beta daily wear watch. Yeah, fantastic. And then obviously we've got the screw down crown. It hacks. Obviously no handle or anything because it's quartz. I'm just going to start the chronograph. Nice action on the chronograph. I do like the fact that the second hand and the minute timer are both in yellow. The Loom is interesting on this. I'll just put up a Loom shot now while this is running round. And the triangle Loom on the second hand is kind of your orientation Loom triangle when at night. And it works really well, and I do like the pattern of the Loom. You've got sort of like the 2, 2, 2, 2 in the corners. Loom is usual Seiko fare, fantastic. There's not a great deal of it, but it's really nice and it works absolutely perfectly. And obviously lasts a long time. I'm just going to let this run past a minute, and you'll see the minute hand at the top there. Just click over one, and then I'll reset it and show you the action. So you've got a reasonably smooth sweep of the second hand, which is nice for a quartz. And then as you go past, that will just click over 1 minute. Boom, there it goes. You've got you can do a split reset, so you can stop it like that, so that's still running, so that you can then write down, you know, that's your first time, and then it will just keep going if you reset it, or you can stop it at the next one. So you've got a split reset function, and then if I just stop it there and then reset it, no snap back on this, but a nice smooth return to the center. Everything lines up perfectly. So a really nice functional use there. You've got obviously an applied Seiko logo, and then you've got chronograph 200 meters. Over on the side you've got an inner tachymeter scale, and then loads of other scales. You've got the date complication, which is nice, and then down the bottom we've got this alarm, which you can actually use that as a dual time function. And if you set it as a dual time function, then the alarm, if you then set the alarm, it would work on the dual time. So you kind of use dual time or the alarm. If you have it as the alarm, basically you set the time and the bottom dial to match, and then this shouldn't be called an alarm. This should just be called a reminder, because you can only set it up to sort of 12 hours in advance. So you can't set like a daily alarm at 8 o'clock the next day. It doesn't work like that. it will just, when it next gets round to the time you've set, the reminder will go off, and that's it, it stops, it's done, and then it just carries on, the time will carry on going. And I will demonstrate that and how to do it. So obviously you've got to unscrew your pusher there. I've got mine unscrewed already. So you unscrew the crown. To set the time on that, you pull the crown out 2 positions. To set the alarm, you pull it out 1 position. So pull it out to the first position, which you can use to obviously change the date complication as well. And then you just use this bottom pusher. So I'm going to push it on 2 minutes, and then you push the crown back in, and we'll just reseat that. Screws in really nicely, and that's the alarm set. Now that alarm will just stay in that position until the time catches up. The reminder will go off, it pings for 20 seconds, and then that bottom dial will then just keep running the same as here. So we'll just wait for this alarm to go off. The alarm's not very loud, or the reminder's not very loud, but I have actually used it and it does work, and it was enough to catch my attention, and it's got quite a nice sound to it. So we'll just wait for that to go off. I think I've set this right. I might not have set it right, but I think it should go off any second now. I'll put it over by the microphone. So that's the reminder feature, or the alarm feature. If you don't want to use the reminder feature, you can just set the time on that to a dual time zone and then just use it as a dual time. But I say then you can't really use it as a reminder, not easily anyway. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just pop it on the wrist, and I'm going to compare it to the Seiko Monster I've got, because I just want to get an idea of the size of this. So there's my Monster. As you can see, it's a nice size. Look at how the, you know, it's not oversized for my wrist, really nice, but a nice chunky watch. And there's the dinky little Flightmaster. Now, as I'm sure you can see now, the difference in size. I mean, it is just a little, it's an adorable little watch, and I think the way I've got this strap works really well. So it's kind of a Nato, I think they call this a Zulu, but you've still got that added benefit of if a spring bar pops, it will hang on to one side. And the way I've put this in there and forced this strap in, there's a good chance that spring bar would go. So I am testing this out at the moment, but it seems okay so far. I've given it a good stress test. I mean, that's fairly tight, and I can put my finger on there and give it a bit of a pull, and nothing's popping out. So actually wears really good. It's quite nice here. None of this digs into your hand. None of the pushers or the crown doesn't dig into your hand or anything. It's lightweight when it's not on the strap. When it's on the strap, it is quite a hefty watch. I think the strap weighs way more than the watch. I mean, that is a big chunk of steel there. I mean, this is kind of the quality you get on a Monster. It's I'm actually amazed at how nice a quality this bracelet is. So on the strap, actually wears really nicely, really lightweight, and I just absolutely love it. It's a fantastic sort of daily wear, functional watch, and you know, thoroughly recommend it. And as I said, I didn't really want to like this, or I didn't think I would like this, but I've kind of fallen a little bit in love with it, and for the moment at least, it is staying in my collection. So thanks for watching. Watch the time and my review of the old Seiko Flightmaster. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.